Andy Griffith, Gwen Stefani, and Bruce Willis. Those three people don't have very much in common. They are from completely different time periods and they have completely different talents. But what those three people all have in common is they all participated in some form of fine arts program in their high school. Many celebrities can agree that fine arts programs are very beneficial in schools today. According to sites.pdu.edu, although schools are cutting fine arts education in an attempt to save money, studies have proven that the many benefits that they have on kids. Fine arts programs are not emphasized enough and they are not encouraged throughout their students. All in all, fine arts programs are very beneficial because they teach many life lessons, they are much more inclusive than a lot of sports that high schools have, and they improve academic scores tremendously. Schools today do not put enough emphasis on fine arts programs and they neglect to acknowledge the many benefits that they have on the students. Without a variety of fine arts programs, it leaves students with feeling lost and not being able to live up to their full potential. For example, the kids that play sports will have athletic programs, but what about the kids that play an instrument or sing in the chorus? Studies have shown fine arts programs are much more inclusive than a lot of the other activities that high schools have. Studies have shown that kids who participate in fine arts programs, specifically music, have much higher test scores than those who don't. According to nafme.org, on the 2012 SAT, students who participated in music scored an average of 31 points higher in reading, 23 points higher in math, and an average of 31 points above average in writing. When students aren't offered fine arts programs at their school, they often end up acting up and doing things that might get them in trouble with either the school or the law, especially. This is caused by many inadequacies in the present system. Schools are willing to spend more money on maybe new uniforms for the basketball team rather than paintbrushes for the arts programs. Schools are also more willing to recognize their region championship baseball team rather than their all-state jazz trumpet player who worked just as hard, if not higher, to get where they are than the baseball team. This problem will continue unless corrective action is taken. Kids who aren't offered these fine arts programs, they might find other ways to fill their time. For example, if a kid isn't offered canvases to fill up, if the kid isn't offered canvases to express himself creatively, he might end up expressing himself in other ways on maybe the sides of buildings, which will get him in a lot of trouble. Because this is such a specific problem dealt with inadequately, it will keep getting worse and worse until proper action is taken. Fine arts need to be funded and recognized just as much as athletes at high school. I believe that in order to solve this problem, funding needs to be split evenly among all the organizations at high schools. For example, the marching band. Often they can consist of 150 to 200 kids, whereas the girls' volleyball team might consist of 10 to 15 people. They might need the same things, but the marching band needs a lot more because they have a lot more students. For example, they need to be fed, their uniforms need to be fixed, they need supplies, they need instrument repairs. That costs a lot more money when it starts adding up. I also think that there needs to be an increase in recognition for the fine arts, for kids who participate in fine arts programs. This solution will significantly reduce the problems stated earlier. Fine arts students will no longer have to put a block on their creativity. They will get the chance to improve their skills and just keep getting better and better and better if they're offered the right material to do this. All in all, they'll also become better people due to the many benefits that fine arts programs have. Studies show that their test scores will increase as well as their academic scores. In my 180-person band, there's not a single person who is failing their classes, and a majority of those kids have a 3.5 or higher and are on the honor roll. Also, the valedictorian and salutatorian at my school are often fine arts kids. kids, whether that be chorus kids, drama kids, art club kids, band kids especially. Let's take a look into the future. Imagine a world where there's no music, no movies, no beautiful paintings or anything. Seems pretty bland, right? Now imagine a world where every single time you go to the movie, it's your new favorite movie because they keep getting better and better. And there's music in the world. Music is a way for many different cultures to express themselves in a creative way through music and dancing. The advantages of enacting this solution outweigh any negatives, and overall there's one main advantage to my argument. These students will become better people. The WashingtonPost.com stated, "They serve as a reminder that the arts, while important to study for their intrinsic value, also promote skills seen as important in academic and life success. Students learn confidence, nonverbal communication, problem solving, and much, much more. The skills learned through fine arts programs are endless. They just keep going on and on, so many benefits. Some say that there's a disadvantage. For example, they might say if a sports team doesn't have as much money as they have, they might start losing, or they might start losing people. But I disagree with that. There's been many examples where this isn't the case. For example, the Clarkston High School track team. They ended up winning their state championship. USA Today HSS.com stated, "The team is growing, but there's no booster club and only enough to pay fees for a handful of invitational meets. My solution is best. Some say to split up the fine arts program, but I don't think this is a solution. I think that if in schools, if fine arts are more incorporated, the kids who are already there will be able to stay in their element that they've known their whole lives, and it will bring more recognition to the fine arts program, and maybe more kids would like to join who maybe don't fit in anywhere else." As I've stated, there's many benefits of these fine arts programs. It causes grades to go up, and they're much more inclusive. If these programs aren't funded properly, my argument is not going to go anywhere. So let's all do our part in making sure that kids have a place where they can express themselves freely.